can I just read a book during this 24-hour readathon that I'm actually enjoying? Spicy Folk of the Air. So Folk of the Air was an adult spicy series. It would be Lords of the Hunt. This is a 24-hour readathon. I want books that are gonna have me clutching my pearls, gasping for air. But I have no idea what's going on in this world. I have no idea. My besties, welcome back to me and my Space Buns channel. My name is Tori. If you're new, I'm so happy that you're here. I hope you are having the best, most wonderful day of your entire stinking life. We are starting a 24-hour readathon today, which I'm really excited because I haven't done one in a really long time, but I just got back from a trip back to Massachusetts. I was doing a bunch of like wedding planning stuff and spending time with my family. I got to spend Easter with them, which was super fun. I wanted to jump right back into a 24-hour readathon because I have a lot of stuff to get done today. A lot of it is like cleaning, organizing, unpacking, you know, all of the things that you do when you come back from a week away. It's also going to be a very productive kind of like day in my life type vlog. So if you love cleaning vlogs, productivity vlogs, stuff like that, you're probably gonna love this video. So if you are excited for this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let's talk about the TBR. It's currently 8:01. I think I'm going to officially kick off this 24-hour readathon at 8:30 this morning. I'm going to be reading Vesper by Margaret Rogerson. I have already started this audiobook. I'm a little less than a quarter of the way through. I'm enjoying it so far. I just see a lot of similarities to A Sorcery of Thorns, and A Sorcery of Thorns is one of my favorites, so I'm hoping that this story will really differentiate itself from A Sorcery of Thorns. I think it will because it is already a bit of a darker type book. But the other story that this book is very similar to that I read recently and absolutely became obsessed with it, if you saw my Instagram stories, you probably know, it was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. And so the similarity between Vesper and that book is that there is this entity that is kind of residing in our main characters. Have a nun who is our main character in this book. Her name is Artemisia. She is training to become a Grey Sister. They're basically nuns who cleanse the body of the dead, because in this world, if you don't treat your dead in a very specific way, they become zombies. She's kind of an outcast in society because she had an incident with possession when she was younger. She has really scarred hands. Her hands are really burned, and so she just gets a lot of unwanted attention, and people aren't very nice to her because of that reason. But her convent is attacked by possessed soldiers, and Artemisia defends it by awakening an ancient spirit who is bound to a saint's relic. It's called a revenant. It's a malevolent being that threatens to possess her. The moment she drops her guard, wielding its extraordinary power almost consumes her, but death has come to Moreau. And only a Vespertine, which is a priestess trained to wield a high relic, has any chance of stopping it. With all the knowledge of Vespertine's lost to time, Artemisia is basically on her own to try to figure out what to do and save her city / world. Well, I guess we're just really into possession books lately. I don't know, but we are, so we're reading Vespertine. And then the other book that I have as an audiobook, but I also have the physical copy, is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I feel like I've talked about this book a lot. It's been on a lot of TBRs, even TBRs from last year, and it's just been a carryover. So I'm finally gonna get to it. I have the audiobook. I think that will be really great because this book is really short. It's 300 pages. So for a 24-hour readathon, that's perfect. I've also heard, I think one of y'all told me that there's some romance in this. Okay, maybe I'll actually like it more than I thought I was going to. So I'm actually more excited now that I have that bit of information to get into this one. As all reading vlogs should start off with, we are going to make a coffee. I have already had one coffee so far this morning because I woke up at 5 a.m. I'm still on East Coast time, which would be like 8 a.m. East Coast time. So yes, it's been an early day. I feel very ready to take on the day, get everything done that we need to get done. I have some bathroom like shower shelves that came in last week that I didn't have a chance to put up. So I think we're gonna start there. I think that would be kind of fun and do a little bathroom clean, hang up those shelves, listen to these audiobooks. We have to take JMO for his WALK. So I'm going to do that. We have to vacuum. I might actually shampoo my carpets as well because we have white carpets in this apartment and they get dingy very fast. I really have to get my nails done because they're very, very grown out. So if I can squeeze in getting my nails done today, I would be a very happy girl. Those are the vibes. So let's get to it. Okay, this is my hour and a half, but basically 2 hours, because I actually started the readathon a little bit earlier, around like 8:15, because when I took JMO for his walk this morning, I started listening to Vesper on that walk. So there's things that I like about it, but there's things overall I'm feeling pretty like meh about it. I love that there are all these different kinds of spirits, and if you're familiar with Sorcery of Thorns, it's kind of like they are tiered level of spirits in terms of how powerful they are, which is similar to the grimoire books that were in A Sorcery of Thorns, which is really, it's a good idea. I know I'm trying to put together the pieces and like pick up on clues to figure out which of the 7 revenants is residing within Artemisia, but we haven't really gotten many clues. I like the dynamic between the Revenant and Artemisia. I keep looking at her name because like I cannot remember her name for the life of me for whatever reason. So I feel like this is one of those books where you have to read like a good portion of it at a time in order to be emotionally invested in it. I just caught up on my reading journal, which was really nice. I didn't realize I had like 7 books to fill out. I think 7 books to fill out in my reading journal. I've just been finishing a bunch of books. We hung up the little sticky bits for the shower shelves, and I have to wait 24 hours to actually hang the shelves on the adhesive hooks. I started laundry. I think right now I'm going to vacuum and shampoo the carpet. I think that that's next. So I'm going to continue listening to this, and I'm going to call my nail place and see if I can get an appointment, because now it's 10 a.m. This has been a strong start, I feel, to the 24-hour readathon. So let's keep going. We are back from getting the nails done. I picked the lightest pink color I could find. After having bright red for, I think I had those last nails for probably 6 weeks. It's nice to go back to a neutral, you know what I mean? I'm a slut for neutrals, so this is speaking to my heart. I was able to listen to a little bit of my audiobook while I was getting my nails done, actually, which was nice. I'm just grabbing my phone so I can see what percent I stopped at, but I think I am going to switch at this point and start reading a little bit of The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, just for a change of pace. So I am 64% of the way through Vesper. I think let's read for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, then we're gonna food shop, and then we'll reassess where we're at. I did take a bit of a break as well from reading when I came back home from getting my nails done, because I just edited the vlog that, when you're seeing this, would have gone up on Sunday. So I did take an editing break, which was nice. Now I feel ready and reinvigorated to start reading again. Good morning. So I decided to turn this 24-hour readathon into a timed 24-hour readathon because I realized that I wanted to get a lot more reading done than I thought I would be able to if I didn't do it timed. I have my timer, which you would have seen this morning. So we are about 9 hours into this 24-hour readathon. I'm almost done with Vesper. I am 92% of the way through. I only have about 30 minutes left in the audiobook. Vesper really wasn't my favorite of Margaret Rogerson. I'm happy that I've read it and I'm going to finish it, because now I can say that I've read all of her backlist books, which is really, it just does something for me. It has a very different vibe than any of her other books. Her other fantasies are much more cozy, and even though A Sorcery of Thorns does have some really intense parts of it, it's not just a cozy fantasy where it's all vibes and no plot. However, Vesper is extremely plot oriented, and there's also no romance in it, which Margaret Rogerson's romances are the reasons why I return to her books. If I'm being really blunt, I love her worlds, I love her characters as well, but her romances are just so sweet and heartfelt. I love them so much. An Enchantment of Ravens, A Sorcery of Thorns, The Mysteries of Thorn Manor, all of those have really heartwarming, adorable romances. I have no idea where I'm going to place Vesper in terms of a star rating. I haven't enjoyed it, if I'm being honest, so it's probably like a 2-star in terms of enjoyment level. However, Margaret Rogerson's writing, her characters have been great. It's just that it's not for me. So maybe like a 3-star, because I can't give Margaret Rogerson anything less than a 3-star. And the book isn't bad. It was just my experience of the book that has been disappointing. The other reading update that I have, I did start The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. I read it physically for maybe 30 minutes and
I was so bored.
It was a very repetitive first chapter. I was like, why is this like repeating the same things a couple times in a couple different paragraphs? I need to give it more than one chapter to be able to get into the story, but I was not impressed. I was not gripped or pulled into the story in any way, shape, or form from the first chapter. I don't know how I want to approach The Daughter of Dr. Moreau at this point. I might read up to chapter 5. I feel like 5 chapters is enough to really gauge whether or not I'm going to be into that book or not. I will talk to y'all in a little bit. I'm going to officially finish Vesper. I think I'm going to sit with it for a little while and then return to give y'all the star rating for it. I also have to show you the bathroom shelves that I put up. So the last we saw of those, I had hung up just the adhesive hooks. I put the shelves up and I really, really love them. I just got back from my walk with Mr. Jameson's. We did almost a mile this morning and I was able to listen up to chapter 5 in The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. I'm changing my tune a little bit. I made some judgments very quickly on the first chapter. No, I'm really liking it. And I think the difference is also the audiobook. I really like the audiobook because the narrator is doing amazing accents for each character. So Dr. Moreau and his daughter both have this French accent that's really fun to listen to, and it's done really well. Mr. Montgomery, who is this new like person that's coming into this like research facility, and so Mr. Montgomery is coming onto their hacienda to help with like the research and maybe capture additional animals, it sounds like. If you are someone who, there's kind of like animal cruelty and also a lot of experimentation with animals in this book. If that is a content warning for you, just be aware of that. That's like the whole book. Darwinism and then like scientific experimentation with animals. So I'm liking it a lot more because we've started switching POVs from Carlota and Mr. Montgomery, and I really like that. Mr. Montgomery is not a likable character at all. We kind of went into his backstory and his story of how he came from England and now he's in Mexico. Carlota, we found out, is, I mean, she's the daughter of Dr. Moreau, but she's also kind of an experiment. Like, this doctor is just so messed up in the head that he saw the opportunity to help his daughter. She was born with, I think, like an issue with her blood, and so he took that as an opportunity to experiment with her and combine her with the essence of an animal to cure her blood disease or like her blood issue. And she's like one of the only experiments that hasn't had so far maleffects of this experimentation. Right now I'm making myself some breakfast. I'm gonna eat and then probably continue listening to The Daughter of Dr. Moreau and like fold some laundry or something. I'm checking in at almost the halfway point in this 24-hour readathon. I've now read up to 28% in The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, so not that much more. I'm struggling with this book. I'm struggling with this book because I don't love Carlota's chapters. I don't love her POV. I think she's just so sheltered that her interpreting the world around her that she's grown up with, like all she's ever known is this really isolated hacienda area of Mexico. Like she's never left her area and her house. And so like, and I think that's why I had such a visceral reaction to the first chapter, because the first chapter is in her POV and it was like really, really boring and very repetitive. And she kept saying the same things and the same descriptions of like her house, her family, and of Mexico. And I was like,
okay.
I do enjoy the other POV that we get, who is Montgomery, but where I really am not enjoying an entire like essentially half of this book with Carlota's POV, because it switches back and forth every other chapter between the two of them.
I'm hoping that it gets better.
I'm hoping that it gets better and Carlota gets more interesting or something goes on with her, because right now I'm like, can I just read a book during this 24-hour readathon that I'm actually enjoying? Now I'm like, okay, do I just switch and be unhinged and switch to fantasy romance? Like KU fantasy romance. Honestly, maybe not even fantasy romance. I'd be down for like a contemporary. Well, it's something that I'm just gonna want to fly through. Like this is a 24-hour readathon. I want books that are gonna have me clutching my pearls, gasping for air, screaming, crying, throwing up everywhere, absolutely freaking out, unhinged reading to the max. That's what I want, and these books are not giving it to me. The morale is low. Every single chapter starts out with her saying how much she loves where she lives and how much she loves her father. I get it. Like, I totally get it. You don't have to say it in every single chapter. Hiya, we have just less than 8 hours left in this 24-hour readathon, so we should be able to complete it today. And I have a couple updates. So I made it a little bit less than halfway in The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, and for my mental sanity, I decided that I needed to DNF, which I'm disappointed about because Mexican Gothic was a 5-star read for me. I really did find almost all of the characters very interesting besides Carlota. But y'all, I just couldn't do it anymore. That plot was going nowhere. It started here and then it just continued. And there was nowhere that plot was going. I'm like, okay, I'm almost halfway through a horror book and nothing remotely creepy has even happened at all. The much more exciting book that I need to talk to y'all about, I did end up switching last night to a romance book. I don't know whether or not I want to call this book a fantasy romance or not, because it's really difficult for me to gauge what this book even is outside of like a reverse harem romance. So I started reading Broken Bonds by J. Bree. This is a book that I put on my 23 books for 2023. It's a 5-star prediction. I think that I'm really gonna like it. I'm over halfway already. I read like 200 pages last night because I was just dying for a book that I could get behind, and I felt like Vespertine and The Daughter of Dr. Moreau have been some of the biggest letdown books, and I was just struggling to get through both of them. I wanted a book that was gonna be, let's have some fun, the speed is sick type vibes. It's easy to get into. That's what I'll say about it so far. I'm really not too sure how I'm feeling about it quite yet, because you don't get any setup for this book at all. You're kind of just thrown into what's going on with our main character. So far that has been fine because I like her. I like her POV. Her name is Oleander, I think, and they call her Ollie. She is a strong female character. She is very protective. She is okay with kind of playing this villain character, and she's okay with people not fully understanding her side of the story because she is doing it to protect those around her. But I have no idea what's going on in this world. I have no idea. I just have no idea. I think it's a low fantasy because we're in Oregon, I think, which I find so random because the setting is really not described to us at all. We have this group of gifted people who they have magical abilities of varying degrees. So we have gifted people, we have non-gifted people, which is essentially like basic humans. Apparently, these people coexist. Gifted people get bonded. You can only confirm your bond once you've had some spicy times together, and Ollie doesn't want to finalize her bonds with her 5 male mates yet, because it seems like she's trying to protect them from something we don't really know. It's kind of giving dystopian, low fantasy mixed with like magical people. I can't tell though if I'm actually enjoying this book or I've just been so disinterested in my past 2 books that I've read that I'm like, oh my gosh, finally something that I'm mildly interested in. Fingers crossed it's gonna be a good one because I need something good. We have 6 hours and 30 minutes left. I have an hour left of Broken Bonds. I'm liking it. I've found that with reverse harem romance books, especially series, they're typically like medium to slow burn. So I had my friend Val, who's read the series, say that it gets really juicy in terms of like spiciness after the second book. The first 2 books are setting everything up, and because she's bonded with like 5 males, you need a lot of time to get to know her relationship with like each one of them. I think right now my favorites are Atlas. I mean, my favorite is Atlas hands down. He's tall, dark, handsome, tattooed. Love him. He's probably my favorite. And then I really love Griffin as well. I knew going into it that there wasn't gonna be spice in this first one. If you're looking for something that's like spicy from the very beginning, this would not be your favorite. I'm gonna be like feral by the time book 3 comes around and we get some spice. Like, I need to know. Her relationships with her bonds are developing at a good pace, like not quickly, but they're developing at a good pace. But if I'm honest, like in terms of plot, nothing has really happened in this book, and if that's gonna be a deterrent for you and you're not just here to kind of vibe with the relationships that are going on, you're not going to enjoy this first book. I'm gonna have time on the clock after I finish Broken Bonds, and so I'm gonna be reading Lords of the Hunt, which is book 1 in the Wild Fae series by Kate King. I'll pop up a picture. It's another Kindle Unlimited romance book. That one is a fantasy romance, and that is spicy Folk of the Air. So if Folk of the Air was an adult spicy series, it would be Lords of the Hunt. I'm 15% of the way into the book so far, and it's a very, very quick read. It's not a long book to begin with, but all of the chapters are super, super short. There's a lot of dialogue, so it's really easy to just absolutely fly through. Those are the updates for now. I will give another update when I finish Broken Bonds, finishing the second book in this 24-hour readathon. It feels like I've read a lot, and yet I've only finished one book. I've only officially finished Vesper, so very excited to finish book 2, and then we will go on to book 3. I did not get as much reading done last night as I was hoping to, so I still have 4 hours left of the readathon. I finished Broken Bonds by J. Bree. Am I going to continue with the series? Yes. I feel like it's going to get a lot better. I feel like it's going to get juicy. I really like some of the male bondeds or like mates. I really like some of them, and I feel like when we get to the spicy bits, it's gonna be amazing. However, this first book wasn't good. I ended up giving it 3 stars because was I entertained? Yes. Did I read it in less than a day? Yes, I did. I thought it was interesting. I like the main character, sort of, but J. Bree literally just said, world building? No. We're gonna make 4 of her 5 bonds bully her the entire time, but she's gonna have an amazing female friendship. Was there a lot of confusion? Yes, absolutely. Am I still kind of intrigued to find out more about what's going on? Yes. I'm here to close out this vlog and also give you all of my thoughts and opinions on the Lords of the Hunt, which I mentioned briefly. I did finish, but I didn't really discuss a lot. So overall, I gave it 3 stars. This is a book about, I mean, there's a lot of parallels to the Folk of the Air series, except it's adult and it does have a teensy tiny bit of spice. It was really fun though, so I ended up giving it 3 stars. It is about twin sisters. There is Rosie and Lonnie. They're human sisters, and they're living in fairy amongst fae, high fae, unseelie fae, all of that fun stuff. Their family, or their mother, passed away when they were not too young actually, but in their youth. To survive, they grew up being servants in the royal palace. In this society, every year they come into what they call hunting season. Essentially, the kingdom has the opportunity to kill whoever is king or queen, and if they kill that person after dark on one of the nights of the hunt, they take over the crown and become the new leader, king, queen of the society. So, by a twisted turn of events, our main character, Lonnie, ends up killing the king. She becomes the queen. Not everyone's happy about it. We have 2 princes who then become involved in her situation. They are not nice to her. It gives enemies to lovers in the same brutality as like Carden and his kind of group of friends did with Jude in the Folk of the Air series. So it is brutal. It's kind of almost a little bit of a bully romance. The writing style is not the best. I'm gonna throw it out there. I was a bit disappointed. I was expecting it to be much more lush and descriptive. It's fairy, so I was like, give us the vibes. The vibes weren't vibing too hard. I am intrigued with where the plot is going, and I really love the characters. I feel like their dynamic could end up being really juicy and good, but I was a bit underwhelmed by the writing style. I was underwhelmed also. The readers basically just left in the dark until the very end, and that's how the author is building suspense throughout the whole book for the plot. The second book in the series is coming out this summer. I don't have anything more specific than that, but I know that it's coming out this summer. It's going to be released on Kindle Unlimited. We'll read the second book because the little bits of spice that we did get, I was very into. You can tell that the spice is gonna be good once we get to the actual spicy parts. Y'all, I just need to find a book that's gonna have me screaming at the top of my lungs. I think this 24-hour readathon, although I finished 3 books, got halfway through another, so DNF'd one, 4 books total, none of them were exceptional, and it was a bit disappointing. But if you've read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to talk a little bit more about these. But with that, I'm going to love you and leave you here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I post every Sunday and Thursday. The last Saturday of every month, we do our last call reading sprint so we can end the month strong and finish some books together. I also do bullet journal content as well. My Goodreads, my Instagram, all my fun stuff is linked in the description box below if you want to see more from me. I will catch you in the comments, and I'll see you in my next one, friends. Bye!